G'day guys, Chef Cal here. What we're going to be looking at is fruit and cheese scones. Having a look, got all my mise en place here, got my flour, got my milk, got my cheese, cayenne pepper and my sultanas. Got my tray, got my equipment, ready to roll. Alright, first up, let's look at sifting the flour. So I've got the flour and the baking powder and the salt in there. I'll sift it up. As you can see, I've got my flour, my butter coating the flour because I don't want it to stick to my fingers. So what I'm about to do now is grate the butter into the flour so I can rub it in. Okay, the technique there is for coating the flour granules so we can ensure a nice short crumb for the scones so they're not tough and chewy. So this is just to make it nice and short, nice and easy to bite through. Alright, so next up we're rubbing in our butter with our flour. So we don't want to melt the butter and put it into the flour because what will happen is the flour will soak up the butter. What's going to happen, what we want to do with the cold butter is that it coats the flour and, like I said, makes that nice short crumb. Okay, rub it through and then you want to get like a sandy like texture. See how I'm starting to rub it between my hands now? It's just about there. Just make sure I check it. Have a good look. So rubbing in, it's a good technique. We're going to be doing it a lot in pastry. There you go, it's all ready to roll. Now I want to make a well in the center of my rubbed in flour and butter. I'm going to pour in my milk. And then I'm going to get my little plastic scraper and I'm going to cut it in. Okay, so I'm cutting it in. I'm not trying to stir it all in. Don't want to make it tough. I just want to cut it in just nicely. I don't want it to be too tough. I want it to be very tender. So I'm trying not to overwork it. As you can see there, it's quite a wet mix, and I'll show you that soon. Right, better move along. Adding the fruit into half of our scones, and then I got the other half just to the left of me. So this is going to be my fruit scones. Yep, just scooped it out onto a nice floured area on my workbench. I got me a little metal scraper and a plastic scraper. I love these two pieces of equipment because I use them quite a bit for pastry items. Alright, now I got my cheese scone mix there. I'm going to mix in that and then I'm going to cut in some cheese so we can get some nice flavour, and then I'm going to cut in a little bit of my cayenne pepper there too. Just a little bit. Yep, just nice and subtle. Cut it in. See, I'm just using a thin blade. I could do this with a bread and butter knife as well. It's called cutting in. It's just to help not overwork your product. Okay, so now we've rolled both of our fruit and cheese scones out onto the floured workspace. Now we're going to just roll it in the flour so it's not all sticky. And don't worry, because we've made a good mix, and we'll brush all that excess flour off with some milk anyway. So don't worry, you're not going to affect the quality of your scone if you've got a little bit too much flour. This is just to ensure that it doesn't stick to the chopping board, and then you can shape your scones just like this. So make a little pad. You know, if you're working in a restaurant and stuff, you're not going to be making 4 scones or 10 scones. You're going to be making 30, 40, 50 scones. So this is just an example. So we're just cutting our scones into a nice portion. Make sure you scrape all the excess flour off your bench, so you don't want it to be all covered in flour. Now we're just going to brush our scones with milk just to get rid of all that excess flour that we had, to prevent it from sticking. Don't be shy. And this helps give it a nice good blistered effect when you are baking it. So this is like a glazing technique. Alright, no wastage on the milk there. Let's sprinkle a little bit of cheese on our cheese scones. Got our fruit scones there, which is all good. And then let's get them in the oven. Alright, you want to be looking at about 10 to 12 minutes in the oven until they're nice and golden. As you can see here, they've got a nice good colour on the base. Okay, got a nice bit of colour, and then I've just got a really nice clean tea towel, and I'm just going to wrap it up for about 10 minutes just so they cool down, and we just keep them nice, they don't dry out. And then we're just having a bit of a look in there. Look at that, bit of a zoom through, and we're done.